Hello, my XRP army, my tribe, and everybody out there in YouTube land. So I'd like to address a comment by MJ, or is it MK? Whoops, sorry, MJ 21111. Thank you for every comment. All you people out there who comment. It really helps the algorithm and push it out. Thank you for sharing, everybody that shares. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Appreciate all you subscribers, really do. So what MJ 21111 says, he says, I say this respectfully. Do you really believe all the hype around XRP that's been pumped through social media? No. The idea that XRP is taking over the SWIFT system is a huge oversimplification and honestly outdated. XRP was designed as a cross-border payments solution, sure. But the payments landscape has evolved a lot since its ICO hype days. The market has moved on. Look at the introduction of stablecoins in 2015. Honestly, I'm not sure if you're being serious or joking with the wild claims here. It almost sounds like satire, but if you're serious, I just encourage a bit of healthy skepticism. Crypto is full of narratives that sound great but don't hold up to the real world use cases and market dynamics. Claiming XRP would even reach 1,000 is in the realm of fantasy, especially considering the lack of adoption and cycles of hype, pump, and dumps every 4-year cycles. Thank you for the comment. I'd like to respond to that. Do I believe the hype? Most of it, no. Most of it is splashed across the internet for views. You see them all the time where people say, this prediction says $5,783. That prediction says 657 in 2 weeks, and on it goes. What's my prediction? Is that going to happen? Well, in actuality, every single day has proven me wrong. But I still keep hoping. XRP, $100,000 today, please. It's why I still play the lottery. I buy one ticket every time I buy gas. You never know. But yes, most of what you read on the internet is hype. It is. Is what Christine Lagarde says about Circle and Ripple hype? When she says Circle and Ripple are going to cannibalize the SWIFT system, is that hype? I don't think that's hype, and I listen to her. She runs the second largest central banking system in the world. If she says something like that, my ears prick up. When other people, like that dude from BlackRock, I forget his name, when he starts talking about XRP, Circle, Ripple, that kind of stuff, my ears prick up. When, was it Jamie Dimon? Chase? Was it Jamie Dimon? No, who was it? It might have been Jamie Dimon. Years ago said, anybody I catch trading in Bitcoin is going to be immediately fired. And then now he's delving into it himself. When that happens, I look into that. I listen to that. My ears prick up. My senses, my spidey senses get all excited. Those are the people I try to listen to. Not to, what's his name? Stockmo. I like the guy, he just charts. He does his homework. It's not just crypto that he's in. But yeah, he hypes a lot. He hypes hard. Hype hard, baby. Hype hard. You gotta be outrageous and outlandish to get the views. I'm learning that. I've been on YouTube a year. Finally got Is it a year? Quite a year? Yeah, I think a year. Finally got to 1,000 subscribers. It takes a lot of work. And unfortunately, sensationalism sells. Just like in the old advertising adage, sex sells. Today, unrealistic hype, hope, hopium, selling hopium. Hopium sold here, it sells, unfortunately. But when real people, the movers and shakers around the world, start talking about it, when people in Saudi Arabia, when princes in Saudi Arabia start talking about XRP, when people in Dubai start implementing it, when Japan says that 80% of their bank transactions will be in XRP in 2025, my ears prick up when I listen. When I see the President of the United States in a battle with the Fed over interest rates, because he's got to renew $9 trillion worth of debt this year. And the interest rates that he has to roll it over at, if he can't get them to reduce the rates, which he can't reduce rates because we'll have hyperinflation. We're screwed. When I see those kinds of things in the world, I started understanding that the system that isn't going to be the system that will be. There will be something else. Do we have better ways of doing things? Absolutely. I believe that Ripple is a whole lot better way of doing things than Swift is. And not just the Swift system. It's not limited to Swift. It may have been designed to take over that, but it can do a whole lot more than that. And it's showing that. That's what I believe. Could I be wrong? Yep, I could be wrong. But in 2011, when I told myself to buy 600 Bitcoin at $2, and I didn't, I was wrong then too. Because today, that would be $66 million. I was wrong then. I'm not going to be wrong again. I can afford to throw some money at XRP and let it sit for 10 years. Do I want to sit for 10 years? Nope. What do I want? $100,000 today, please. Is that going to happen? No. Tomorrow's going to prove that, once again, it did not go to $100,000. Will it in 10 years? Maybe. It might be a whole lot less than 10 years. Could be. Can I prove it? In 10 years, we'll talk again. Hopefully it's only 5 years, 3 years. I'd like to see it in 3 years. I'd settle for $1,000 in 3 years. Honestly, I would settle for $500 in 3 years. In 3 years, I would settle for $350. And I'd retire a very wealthy man. And I'd be very happy for that. Everything is pumped to the benefit of the pumpers, to the extent pumpers are able to pump. Age-old story. Nothing new about that. I am not revealing any secrets there. There is nothing hidden about that. Those who have the power, and they use it to their own benefit. Why is XRP taking over Swift outdated? Please bring facts. I'd like to hear them. I really would. Because you're aware of something I'm not aware of. Swift is an old antiquated system. It is an absolute dinosaur. You've got to slow walk your money around the world when XRP can do it in 3 seconds. Boom. Chief financial officers are going to be looking at that and saying, wow, we can hang on to $10 million worth of debt another 3 days, or we can buy down our debt by $10 million in 3 seconds. Which am I going to do? That's what I believe is going to drive XRP, is the bottom line financials of corporations being able to save a ton of money in interest by not having their money sit in the SWIFT system waiting for resolution. That makes a huge thing. A lot of corporations have big debt loads, and if they can buy it down 3 days sooner, 2 days sooner, hours sooner, it makes a huge difference on their bottom line. I believe that's what's going to drive XRP. I really, really do. Stablecoins in 2015? You mean the ones backed by fiat currencies? I need a drink. Yeah, stablecoins that are backed by fiat currency systems that can be inflated and printed into infinity. What happens to USD when the US government starts up the printing press because they can't collect any more taxes or blah, 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 whatever the reasons are? They have to roll this debt over and then they have to get more, and it's just a debt spiral. And it gets out of control. What happens to USD when the monetary supply is doubling every 90 days, and then every 30 days, and then every 10 days, and 5, and every single day the money supply is doubling? What happens to USD and all the stable coins that are attached to it? Do they retain their original value? I don't have the answer to that question, but my guess is no. Anyone that can bring the receipts and prove me wrong, please do, because I'd like to know about it. I would like an education on that. So I don't believe stable coins are all that stable when they're attached to a fiat currency. If they're attached to Bitcoin, is Bitcoin stable? No. Isn't Tether going to get in trouble here? It looks like they fired their auditor because they're supposed to be tied to stable things, and Bitcoin is not stable, and they say gold's not stable. You look at a 6,000 year track record of gold. I think it's actually pretty damn stable. But who am I? I don't know squat. I don't claim anything. I don't claim that XRP is going to be at $100,000 today or in 10 years, but I believe there's a really good chance that it will. When I look at the fiat currency systems around the world and how deeply in debt these people are, and that the cycle of indebtedness by nations is always the same: inflation, hyperinflation, repudiation, always without exception. There are no exceptions. The average lifespan of a fiat currency is 27 years. And there have been thousands upon thousands upon thousands of fiat currency systems. 27 years is the average lifespan. Really well maintained, managed fiat currency systems last 70 to 100 years. The Federal Reserve fiat currency system was instituted in 1913 and is now 2025. What is that? 112 years? We have set the gold standard for fiat currencies. But since that time, we have lost, 97, 98% of the purchasing power? So is that really that good? Is it? I don't think it is. But who am I? I'm just Joe Kryptonite. So we are simply at a different, we are moving down the hill at molasses speed in winter as far as fiat currency systems are concerned. But the system itself mathematically can do nothing but inflate, hyperinflate, repudiate. That's it. That's the mathematical formula of it. It doesn't work any other way when you have a debt-based currency system. And debt-based currency systems is what the US has. Fiat is simply nothing. Ours is worse than nothing because we owe that money to a private banking institution. If we owed it to ourselves, we could forgive it and bite the bullet and come out on the other end and try all over again. But we don't owe it to ourselves. We owe it to a private banking institution that's not going to let go of it. Now that leads me to the point of, where does the Fed and the people behind it, the shareholders of the Fed and shareholders of all the central banks around the world, are not going to just let the goose that lays golden eggs go easily. And that makes me wonder if they don't have their talons in Ripple and all of these things. And that leads me back to Hitoshi Shimoto, whatever his name is, Satoshi Nakamoto. I believe that he doesn't exist, and that Bitcoin was really a test bed. But what can you do about it? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. We're all just along for the ride. But that's my point, is get on board early. Make yourself a pile of whatever the new currency is going to be, jump off and enjoy life. That's my whole point. God bless you all. Take care. And I'm out.